The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It is Tuesday, the 12th day of July, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindo's. I'm Philip Trott. Sanchez here with me. Good morning to our awesome audience. Good morning to the Cup Match team that has an airport. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We've got another good one today as we welcome Dr. Chris Fosker of Bermuda Cancer and Health Center to the show. Today's Daily Play is Bermuda Trivia. We're going to be doing some more Cup Match questions. Good morning, Sancha. How are you today?
You just had to slide that in there, huh? You guys are going to need an airport because after you get beat,
it's
you
not, but I
right?
don't understand what the issue is. I didn't lie. I didn't
But
make
that's
anything
fine.
up.
That's fine. We're going to need to stay here and celebrate anyway, so we don't need an airport.
Okay. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Phil. I haven't seen you in a minute.
You ain't missed nothing. Trust me.
We haven't had this combination in a minute.
yeah,
I
man.
was trying to get Charlotte a little Somerset flag, but you wanted nothing to do with it.
Don't do that.
Literally picked up his child and was like, stranger danger, and ran with it.
I forgot about that.
I was like, he's serious. Charlotte not touch a Somerset flag. But okay.
No, man.
I'll get him on our team. He's gonna realize how, what's the best team at some point.
I had a good evening in God's country last night. We went to dinner. No, down the east, God's country. I said. Happy belated birthday to my father-in-law, Shiloh's papa. He had a good birthday yesterday.
Where did you go to dinner?
We went to Wharf.
The Wharf. Oh, okay, I haven't been there yet, but I've heard really good things about it. Every time I see a meme, like
good little seafood.
I heard they have the sushi too.
I didn't get the sushi last night. I also ran into the mayor of St. George's, my mate George. He was working. So it's always good times. But how's everybody doing this morning? Let's talk about a little question that and I don't think we've talked. Well, I haven't talked that much about it. So yesterday the Gazette reported that Liz Truss, the UK Foreign Secretary, is considering allowing Bermuda to legalize cannabis, right? And so, because we didn't get the assent from the governor when the bill first went up. So I guess my question is, my whole thing about I'm all for cannabis legalization, but what I'm afraid of is that the people who have been harmed by weed laws in the past won't be able to benefit when it goes legal. And
let me ask you this, Bill. Are you for it for medicinal or for recreational?
I'm for it for both.
Okay.
Like this all, the views of the hosts are not the views of BCG, right? But I personally I'm just for it just being legal. Let's just go out, sell it, commercialize it, do whatever.
Well, I mean, I you have a really good point. My thing is, I'm for it, but my concern is who, once again, is going to benefit from it. Who are going to be given, the different, who's going to be allowed to sell it? Who is going to be making money once again from this venture? And I feel like it always becomes very biased. And I think when we were talking backstage, you said one of the questions you had mentioned is how do we prepare for it, which is a great point. How do we prepare on this end so that we make sure that we have all our ducks in a row so the people that should be benefiting from it can benefit from it, and it's no excuses.
Yeah, I think so. What I'm afraid of is that so let's again, this is all, I haven't done any deep study on this or anything. This is just me talking from what I've seen and whatnot. The groups that have been most hurt, I won't say cannabis laws or marijuana laws, I'll just say drug laws in general.
Mm-hmm.
The groups that have been hurt are predominantly Black, low income, that circle, right? Or that demographic. And so, they're the ones that have been, stop list, put in jail.
I hear what you're saying, but my concern is how do they get funding to even be able to play on that field? Right.
So that's where I'm going
to make sure that they are able to get permits, and how does that work? How
that's where I'm going. So now that we're moving towards decriminalization and moving towards like, we can openly sell it and make money off it, and it's another revenue stream because you're gonna have to pay taxes.
Right.
It's another revenue stream for the government and what have you. How do we make sure that those that have been when you go to jail, you're incarcerated, you can't earn money for your family anymore, it's on your permanent record, you can't do this, you can't do that. Do those people, how do we make sure? And this is the question.
So what's your idea? We give them
No, I don't. My thing is, I don't have an idea. I just want basically what I would like to see.
Audience.
Sorry?
I said maybe we can ask the audience.
I am asking the audience. Please, audience, chime in, because I'm putting this out there as a concern. It's not something that I have an answer to.
Right.
But I want to make sure that the people who have been hurt the most are the first, have the best opportunity to benefit. Like, I want them to get to the front of the line. If there are, because you're gonna have to open a shop, everything that is involved with opening a shop. Like, it's an investment, right? And you have to have, it costs money, and that means, do you have access to the capital to start that up? Now, I'm gonna assume that the people who have been the community demographic that has been hurt the most by marijuana laws don't have access to that type of capital readily, or they're not going to be able to have access to it as easily as, say, more affluent demographic of the island. So I want to make sure, like, can we get a level playing field? Like, is it you put a business plan together, you present it, okay, you got $100,000 interest-free loan to start. I don't know.
Because then somebody like myself, I'm like, well, I want to learn too. So
do
it. But I haven't been in that space, because what we're saying is that people that have been affected.
Right, but you haven't been in that space, but you're closer to that demographic. I am, I'm gonna say I am too. I'm not saying just you, but I'm closer to that demographic than somebody else might be. So while you may not have been, have been affected, you probably know people and say, like, listen, I'll hire my mate Robbie, who I know has been looking for a hustle and his only stop. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
the money's going to get to that community faster.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure we're gonna look at it to say, okay, how do they get removed off the stop list and stuff? That's not
Yeah, yeah.
not gonna
That's,
happen.
I think that's you're right, because
That's a whole another
it,
conversation, another
I
show.
don't
Not
I
gonna
don't
happen.
think it is, because that, like, when we start talking about how do we prepare, like, that's one of the things I think we can do. Well, let's say I'm talking about like Bermuda,
Community.
politicians, community, legislation, everything. Like, how do we make sure that people that have had, maybe they've even served their sentence, can they get that completely wiped from it? I
Have
don't
you
even.
have you spoken to or even dealt with someone that's been on the stop list that's trying to get a waiver or get themselves off? Once you're on that stop list, you're not coming off. And they tell you that, basically you have to go to the US consulate. It's nothing to do with Bermuda. Bermuda can't say anything, can't do anything. Um, it's difficult.
I yeah, man.
Yeah, it's basically at the discretion of the US consulate. And once your name has been put on there for I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience, have you ever heard of anyone that's been on the stop list where their name has been removed for any reason? I know
I don't.
people that should not be on the stop list, like
They
under
can't get
any
their name on.
circumstances. It's like, what? Why is this person on the stop list? They shouldn't be, and
Yeah.
they are. So, yeah.
Jamel's chimed in. It only makes sense to ensure those who have been criminalized for it have their records expunged and the opportunity to make money off of it. But I'm not quite confident this will play out like that. I that's my worry too, right? Like, I don't even know. Like that, I'm worried about that same thing.
Phil and Jamal, I can guarantee that there are already people in place with money in place just waiting for that button to be pressed. Business plans laid out, product ordered, probably business space being prepared. I can guarantee you that they're just waiting for the button to be pressed.
Jamal says, he also says, however, the argument can be made that those who committed the crimes knew the law at the time. Yeah, but I mean,
That's true. That
yeah, but that's true. But I mean, at the same time, if it's again, if it's a, I'm not saying, like, I'm not talking violent crimes that are related to, have something to do, like, if you shot somebody or stabbed somebody in the middle of a drug deal. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. But, like, um if it was law at the time but it's not law anymore, and the idea of it not being law now is to correct um any hurts that have been caused in the past by that law. I think part of the hurt is to say, okay, you weren't a violent you weren't a violent offender, whatever you got caught with,
but
whatever.
I see it becoming more so, let's erase your record. Let's take that off of your record. I don't think that there's going to be any sort of, we have an obligation to help you and apologize, put you in a space of, you know,
See,
space.
that's what I'm struggling with,
Yeah.
because part of it is,
But
you
life's
know
not fair. Life
no,
is
no, life,
fair.
I get it, life's not fair, but when we say life's not fair, that doesn't mean we don't take the opportunity to make it as fair as we can.
Mhm.
Like we,
And
like,
you
God.
know what? Maybe it may be for those people to get there. We talked yesterday about making yourself marketable in this field. So at the end of the day, it's like, listen, I'm good at this, and you
I
get
know, man, but it
right.
always, like, when you do that, you're still relying on somebody else to take a chance on you. Like, what I'm saying
But
is,
let me ask you this:
okay,
if,
go ahead.
let's say, these people did not get caught, like, okay, you were your local weed man, you
Right.
didn't get caught. Do you really think that they would be in a position where they've saved enough or they have enough whereas they can invest? Or is this them, selling weed day to day to survive? So either way, are we giving someone benefits that probably wouldn't have that money to be able to invest in a business anyway?
Well, again, what I'm talking about
Differentiate.
is people that have been brought before the court, convicted, or they've suffered some type of harm through the legal system because of marijuana laws,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Like
No,
I
no, no. So what I'm saying is those people, if we're they should be moved to the front of the line. Maybe they don't have to pay the licensing fee, or maybe they don't have to pay whatever. But if you have been smart or lucky enough to not have been caught, then you won't have a criminal record.
But I think that at the end of the day, if we move them to the front of the line, fine. But when we talk about giving them funding, I think that's a whole nother ball game. Like if you want to move them to the line and tell them, okay, well, you're not going to have to pay this fee, but then we're giving you money as well. Like here's 100,000, start your business. I don't know about that.
I wouldn't. I mean, if it's something that you can say to me is going to benefit, you can show how it's going to benefit you. Remember, it's a loan too, so you gotta pay it back, right? But it's just not, it's interest free or low interest, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But if you can present a solid business plan,
Yeah.
then it's not, I don't think it's money wasted, and it gives these people at least a head start to say, like, at least what we're trying to at least do what we can to right some type of wrong.
Yeah.
Let me go to the comments real quick. Renee Simmons, it says, it's probably trying to say, how does this affect the people who have been incarcerated already? Do they get released or reduced sentence? I wasn't thinking about that, about the reduced get released now.
I think they definitely
But
should.
that's a point though.
Yeah, definitely. Like if
I think
you're incarcerated for marijuana charges and this law is passed, I definitely think. But also, I guess it depends on how much as well, right?
how much, what
If you're
time?
you're incarcerated for marijuana, like
Hmm.
how much marijuana you incarcerated for?
Oh.
You know,
I mean, I don't know, man. I think as long as you haven't,
gray
as
area.
long as it wasn't like a violent, it had no type of violence involved with it, then now if you got like 10 years or something like that, reduce. I don't know how it works, but I could definitely see like reduced sentence, or expunge. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I hope you guys didn't come here to get answers from me, because I don't know. Well, I was just pointing out that, like, it's just something that I'm concerned about, and I want to make sure that the people that have been hurt by marijuana laws at least have a chance to get ahead of, because when we start, if and when we start selling marijuana commercially, like, what's going to happen. It's going to get corporations are going to come in and
Like I said, they already have everything in
that
place.
they exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I totally agree, and that's why I'm saying, like, let's at least try and give the community that has been sort of
You need to
hurt
think
them.
of what the prerequisites are in order to get a permit. Like what I'm sure they know that. I'm sure it's,
Let me see. We had a couple comments on the waiver. Jamal, once you're on that list, you will always need a waiver.
Yep.
Sherry says not removed, but I've gotten a waiver. Sherry, you're on the list? Oh, no. Sherry, oh, sorry. I think she said she knows somebody. All right.
Did you just put Sherry on the list? Sherry, what are you been out here doing?
Sure.
No, but I'm telling you, and even the process for a waiver, you sometimes have to go years and years with
Yeah.
being told no. You can be up to 6 years being told no, and then
Yeah.
I don't know that whole process. It's crazy, and I think you look at it, it's predominantly Black males that's on that list.
Teresa Ann Marie says, "Do we truly believe gangs and their backers will simply step aside? It's doubtful. Step aside.
I don't understand.
I think what she's asking is, do we believe that if we legalize the sale of cannabis, or if we if we legalize the sale of marijuana, will the gangs and their backers step aside? I don't know if that's the point of it. I
But
think
I also think that is assuming that everyone in gangs sells marijuana, which
right, and
is
I
empty,
think
but there's a lot of, you would be surprised who are the backers and who's out here, selling. But I
want
wouldn't say it's just gang members.
yep. Now that is a whole different show. But if we want to start talking about the backers, then
Yeah,
trust me, they don't know. All the backers don't live around National Stadium.
yeah.
Okay, I could guarantee you that. Rosalind Famous says, "Why not give them the money?" Yeah, I'm kind of that's where I am.
I think I get it, but then I think it's who deserves the money. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, we can figure out who deserves the money, but I kind of feel like my whole thing is, if you have, and again, this is not to say that it's just Black men, because you got young white men that have been incarcerated for marijuana laws too. So I'm not saying only give it to Black people. I'm just saying, if you have been put in jail, or if your criminal record, if you have a criminal record that is just centered around trafficking or selling or just being caught with marijuana, then they should give you a blight when it comes to incentives to start a business, or the loans, or
okay, but I think that's just gonna get really messy as to why.
well, it's been messy all this time.
And then, even if, like I said, your local beat man that probably, he's like a little lucky leprechaun. Like, yay.
But then he knows. But again, he knows guys that have been caught and locked up, and he could probably fund them. I don't know. Teresa Marie says, decriminalize with personal growing and use, yes. But as for legal industry commerce, I don't think little people will benefit. And I that's my point. Like, the little guy, I think,
how do we ensure that they
how do we ensure that they get a piece of this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sean Smith says, you can look at your neighborhood pharmacists as potential investors, which could solve your startup capital problem. Yep. I mean, and I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm just saying, on the up and up, the government can be seen as trying to benefit this community. I don't like. Okay, let's say you get $100,000 loan. You might also get another 100,000 from your mate that stays in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that can't happen, but I'm just saying, from a government perspective, from a legislation perspective,
I mean, government doesn't have money now. I mean, given their more responsibility to handle more of our taxes.
I meant to say that I was talking in a perfect world, scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll be better off going to their homeboy, because
they
can't afford it. If government starts saying that they are, like, come on.
Okay, so let me see. 8:24. Let's go to
now?
What happened?
Are we doing news now?
We're doing news now, but watch this. Okay, ready for it?
Oh gosh, let's have it.
So I'm doing the news today, right? And Jamal said, I hope you can handle this, right? I said, Jamal, watch this. So I'm just gonna be reading off some headlines from the Gazette. So let's see. Today, Tuesday, July 12th. A commission, WASI says panel moved to go. A commission to set up to investigate alleged land grabs acted beyond its powers by changing its own terms of reference, a court has heard. This allegation is coming from Khalid Wasi. He claimed commissioners narrowed the scope of the original remit it had been given by the Premier, David Burt. What else we got? Clarence Hill. Oh, Clarence Hill got some posters unveiled. Where was this? It doesn't say. But here's a picture with Wayne Furbert. That's on page 3. That should be a good read. Premier's trip to Switzerland cost $13,000. That's not a lot.
That's not a lot at all.
That's not. Yeah, I don't see why that's.
In Switzerland for.
Crypto finance conference from January 11th to 15th, and a post on the. Oh, I think that was the whole trip. But I mean, for the leader of the country, I don't think that's a whole lot of money. All right. Today's high is 84 degrees and it's raining outside. I used to beat up Jamal for not giving the weather, but I can see why. I'm still not giving you a pass, but I can see why. It's a lot going on right now. All right, so let's go. We're gonna take a first commercial break, and then we're gonna be right back with Dr. Chris Fosker from Bermuda Cancer and Health Center. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors, and not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
So you've made your petty request. Now what? You will either get the requested records or be denied access to them. If you disagree with the response that you received to your petty request, the Information Commissioner's Office can review that response. The ICO is an independent public office that protects and enforces the rights under the Petty Act. Petty requesters have a legal right to an Information Commissioner's review, and it's free.
ICO's investigators will examine how a public authority handled your petty request. If you did not get the records that you requested, we will look at the public authority's reasoning against the actual records to assess their response to your petty request.
Based on the investigators' findings, the Petty Act, and guided by the principles of integrity, fairness, and independence, I will issue a decision on whether the Petty Act requires that the public should have access to those records.
The Information Commissioner's decisions are legally binding and published on ICO.bm. When you make a petty request, rest assured that the ICO is there to uphold, protect, and enforce Petty Act rights. Visit ICO.bm to learn more.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Welcome back to the Big Show. I'm Philip Trott. She's Sancha Durham. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. I like those commercials, by the way. You ever watch them?
I do too.
Like that?
I sit there and
I enjoy them, man. Those are good ones. So we're going to welcome our guest for today, Dr. Chris Fosker from Bermuda Cancer and Health Center. Good morning, Dr. Fosker. How are you doing today?
Good morning, guys. I'm very well. How are you guys?
Good, man. It's good to have you on the show. I want to start with I kind of want to start with like the most pressing, I think, pertinent question that we're all wondering right now is, who are you for in cup match?
St. George's.
Hey, it's a good
the
man.
one with the airport, as you said earlier.
The one with the airport, yes.
I think you just got to speak to Phil first, and you wanted to make him. You haven't met me yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Sancha has a lot of redeeming qualities. One of them is not that she's for Somerset. But other than that, she's a great person, man.
Listen, when you got on island, you started hanging out with the wrong people.
Well, you can look. He came through the airport. What can I say? All right. So about Bermuda Cancer and Health. We just want to start off giving some context. Can you just let the audience know you're an oncologist? Did I say that right? Oncologist. Yep. What does an oncologist do, and what do you do at Bermuda Cancer and Health Center? I'm still trying to spit it out.
So an oncologist is a cancer specialist. So we're doctors that have been through all the standard training, gone to uni, gone to med school, and then worked our way through the system, and then chosen to dedicate our time to looking after people with cancer. There's a lot of different types of oncologists. You can be a radiation oncologist, where you mainly treat with radiation, a medical oncologist where you use chemotherapy. I'm dual trained, so I'm a clinical oncologist, so I use radiation and chemotherapy to help people. And then there's other different types of oncologists. My role here at Bermuda Cancer and Health is kind of two factors. One, mainly as an oncologist, so seeing patients, treating them with radiation, seeing how we can help them. And then secondly, as medical director, so looking at the whole system, seeing how Bermuda Cancer and Health can help with healthcare to help the situation of cancer here in Bermuda.
So there's always that question. I mean, I've been, unfortunately, around a lot of this situation recently, and there's always the question of how many oncologists are there on island at the moment?
4.
Okay.
But it's changed dramatically over a relatively short period of time, which I think kind of represents some of our challenges in terms of knowing how many we need and the unmet need. So I started here 7.5 years ago. And at that time, I joined Dr. Ung, who is the only other oncologist on island. And he actually started 6 months before me. So just 8 years ago, there was no oncologist on island because it was quite challenging to recruit and get people to stay. What we've seen each time we've added a new member to the team is they're very quickly filled up because there was kind of an underservice in the cancer care. People weren't getting to be able to see an oncologist when they needed to. So we're still busy. We're still trying to look at things objectively and trying to work out how many oncologists we should have. But right now we've got 4, which is a big progression compared to just 8 years ago. So a lot's changed in a short period of time.
Yeah.
We do have I just wanted to put this up real quick. Shonette Bell says, "Thank you for treating my mother-in-law. May she sleep in peace." So it's obvious that you guys are having an effect on that. And I imagine it can't be, an easy job to have. So the Bermuda Cancer and Health Center is celebrating the 5th year of radiation therapy being offered on the island. I have also been around people who have had cancer before, but I'm not clear on what exactly radiation therapy is and how it works. So if you can just sort of educate us on that.
So radiation is kind of one of the tools that we have to fight cancer. There's lots of different tools, but radiation is one of the main modalities. So around 2/3 of patients who are diagnosed with cancer, if you follow the guidelines, kind of whether we're choosing US or European or North American guidelines, around 2/3 of people are likely to benefit from receiving radiation. What radiation is, we're harnessing the benefit that you get from shiny radiation. So radiation is all around us. It comes out the earth, it comes out the sun. We use it for X-rays, CT scans. And what we're doing here is you're using a slightly more powerful machine than a CT scanner, and you're focusing the radiation to the area of the body that you need to treat, primarily where the cancer is. And then the little radiation waves, the photons, travel through the body and then target some weaknesses in the cancer. So that's how they're able to change the cancer. For some people, we're trying to cure the cancer. Other people are simply trying to shrink the cancer to kind of palliate, to help with the symptoms they've got, help with the challenges they've got with the cancer. So it's one of the main tools that we have in the fight against cancer.
So Bermuda seems to have a high rate of cancer. And so how necessary is this machine, and how have Bermudians benefited since it's been on island?
So we do seem to have a high rate of cancer. And I think I come around to Philip's comment and your comment initially at the start. I think what we find here in Bermuda, because we're small and we're a close community, that we feel it and we see it. And we're very aware, and particularly the difference for me as a cancer specialist here in Bermuda compared to where else I've worked, so in the UK, Canada, the States, is that I bump into people I treat all the time, you know, whether it's at Cut Match or whether it's down at Lindo's or something like that. So it feels much more personal. So in a sense, that makes it more rewarding but more challenging. In terms of the benefit of bringing radiation here, what we were concerned about as a cancer centre and as individuals treating before the radiation was here was that it looked like only around 1/3 of people diagnosed with cancer were getting radiation, compared to the recommendation by the WHO and big organisations to say it should be 2/3. So our fear was a lot of that was access. You know, there's a significant cost with having to go overseas with radiation. There's a significant fear of going into the unknown. So one of our rationales, one of our motivations to bring radiation is we felt there was an inequality, there was an unfairness in who was able to get radiation. And now we've got to 5 years and we kind of look to our numbers. I think we can back up that that was a correct fear, because what we've shown is that since we opened, about twice as many people are now able to get radiation than were able to access it before. So we've doubled the number of people that are benefiting from radiation. So we feel that's pretty impactful. Breaking it down a little bit, the biggest impact seems to be with the patients who have got the basic level of insurance. So some people refer to it as underinsured. Sometimes it's the HIP, it's the government ones where the overseas coverage is less. So for those patients, we're actually seeing a 4-fold increase in the number of patients who are able to get radiation since we opened. So for us, that's one of the most kind of impactful elements.
That's awesome.
Wow,
I feel like another question I have, I feel like a lot of times we feel like in Bermuda, our machines, or, you know, it's not as good as what they offer in the US. How does this radiation machine compare with what's available overseas?
So it's the same, which is cool to say. Again, we spent a lot of time thinking about it before we open and working out how we'd want to deliver our care. And we're very much of the theory that everyone deserves the best quality care that you can get, no matter where you live, no matter what your financial situation is. So firstly, we made sure there was no copay, so people weren't frightened to come to us because they're worried about money. The next thing we did was work out how we could match some of the highest quality care that Bermudans were receiving already, and a lot of that was on the East Coast. So we reached out, and actually they reached out to us at a similar time to Dana-Farber and Brigham Women's Cancer Center, which is the very high end of cancer care in the US. And they helped us with the design, and now they help us with our day-to-day care. So the machine that we bought is the same as their top level machine, so that we can talk about the quality being just as high, but also we can match what they do. So every time they make a little improvement, it's a bit like an iPhone. You then send over the update and the machine here can do that same sort of improvement. So that was one of our big fears, and also one of the things that we're really proud of, that we do feel like we've been able to replicate the highest quality of care that you get over in the US and just deliver it here through a small team here, but also a big team backing us up over at Brigham and Women's. We're on the phone to them or Zoom to them, chatting through the screens to them every day, checking that we're doing things exactly to their standards.
Awesome, man. So you just mentioned that there's no copay, and I can imagine that something like this is not cheap. So Well, two questions. I saw that I was reading an article yesterday about how much money that you saved. Was it like $35 million that you saved Bermudians from having to travel overseas and whatnot? Like, how much does it cost to run a machine like that? And obviously, you it's a lot of it is the money is donated, correct?
Yeah. So I think I just answered that simply. It takes lots of money, and it is challenging. With our mission, our vision, and one of our basic principles, making sure there's equal access, and as we just highlighted, the no copay. That puts us in a tough spot, but a tough spot that we're prepared to take on. So that's why we are heavily reliant on donors and the fundraising. Relay for Life does amazing things for us. The individuals who do all their raising outside of that, all our little events, make a big difference for us to be able to sustain the kind of healthcare model that we've developed. It's not the easiest on the team here, but it's a team effort. We work hard for it, but we also appreciate that everyone in the community works really hard, and therefore they deserve their cancer care, but they also work really hard raising funds for us that make us sustainable.
Good stuff, man.
How many people do you think you treat each year?
So we're around 200 now, which is almost double. Well, beyond double what it was before we opened. We actually thought there'd be a steady increase over the first 3 or 4 years. Before we opened, we kind of thought maybe we go 100, 110 first year, 120, 130, but we kind of went straight to full speed. So within the first couple of years, we were kind of up to this 200 mark, which is about where we think we'll stay. We know that cancer is going up slowly across the country. The burden of the disease is getting more and more, so we will continue to go up. But we think now we've kind of surged. Most people are choosing to stay. We don't find many people who, even they've got easy options to go overseas, where they've got the best insurance or they've got contacts overseas. Most people just really like to be able to have high quality care in their normal environment, going home each night rather than going to sit in a hotel, going to work. During the day, you just pop here for 20 minutes for your radiation. Sometimes it's a remarkably simple treatment, and people are making that choice to stay because of the normality of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We do have some comments here. Charles Jeffers says, as Sanchez said, Bermuda seems to have a high rate of cancer. Is that true for an island of our size? And if so, any thoughts why that might be?
So it's half true. So I have to say, before working here, lots of people said to me that, the cancer rate in Bermuda seems really high. And I just thought that was a perception, as we talked about, with the closed community. Then when I first started working here, it did seem high and quite challenging and quite different. But actually, what Bermuda Cancer and Health is also doing at the moment is helping or leading a project protocol called the National Cancer Control Plan, where we're really pulling together the data using tumor registry data to look at our numbers. And we do have little areas where we're higher than other countries, but overall, we're not an outlier. We do have, unfortunately, like lots of countries, we do have a high burden of cancer, but we're not particularly different overall than, say, the US or some of the Caribbean countries or the UK.
Okay.
And if there was a reason, it'd be a combination of lifestyle. We know that 30 to 50% of cancers can be lifestyle driven. And then age, and that's definitely something we can't do anything about. But we have got an aging population here, probably more so than some other countries. So it's going to make our fight against cancer harder as we go.
Okay. Speaking of, I guess, about lifestyle and terms of the conversation that we opened with, since we're talking about marijuana, what are the stats of medicinal marijuana helping cancer patients? This is from Renee Simmons.
So medical marijuana, as we were talking about earlier, in a sense, it gets a lot of press, and sometimes that's positive, sometimes that's negative. I think sometimes the press and the information can skew the positive benefit. Sometimes it can make it sound more negative. When we think about it as a medication in line with lots of other medications. So we're thinking about pain relief. We might keep it simple and think about Tylenol, Advil, or go all the way up to morphine. But marijuana is now in that conversation because we know it attacks different parts of the pathway, so it can really help with pain. Similarly, if we're trying to help sickness, like vomiting from cancer. Again, you've got some old-fashioned medications, and then we now know that medical marijuana has a place. It can complement this, or it can do better than that. So we try and look at it objectively, evidence-based. It's not a wonder drug, but it also shouldn't be ignored. It can definitely help patients along the way. So we just try and make sure we treat it like any other medication.
Yeah, I feel like these conversations when people start talking about medicinal marijuana, it's kind of like they approach it from only take marijuana or only do radiation therapy, and it's obviously, from what I've seen, I'm not a doctor, but it seems like when it comes to cancer, you got to hit it with a bunch of different options. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I do have a question, and I apologize if this is sort of off topic, but I am over 40, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk how important it is to get regular check? I'm talking to my guys right now, to get regularly checked for prostate cancer. Can you talk to that? Because I would rather do. I'm not saying I would rather do, but I feel like when you're going to it, obviously, what my doctor said, the sooner you find out, the better, right? So can you just encourage some of my guys to kind of,
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you're helping cancer care just the same way I am, in the sense that getting the message out there, understanding how important it is to know your options, know what's going on. The kind of bury your head in the sand option doesn't help anyone, doesn't help you as an individual. It doesn't help the healthcare system, because the earlier you find things, the easier it is to treat. Cancer, understandably, it's very fearful thinking about it. But finding cancer, prostate cancer, like many other cancers, finding cancer early really, really does make a difference. And unless you're engaging with your GP to understand what your options are, to understand there's different ways of screening, certain elements of screening that people worry about, they've got a stigma. But have that conversation with your GP, have a conversation with mates, and find out it's not really that bad. It's quite a simple thing to do. And if you're really unfortunate and we end up finding prostate cancer at a really young age, which 40 would be a really young age for prostate cancer, then getting it treated at that young age, getting rid of it, getting it cured, is way better than finding out at the age of 50 that it's spread elsewhere in your body and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, man, just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Got a question from Jamel, which is kind of on what we just talked about. Is cancer hereditary in most cases?
No is the kind of overall answer. So again, it depends how you break things down. So when we're talking about hereditary cancers, we're often thinking about the BRCA gene with breast cancer, sometimes prostate cancer. There's a few other genes now that get the headlines. And when we talk hereditary cancers, we're really, the way we reference it is cancers that have come about purely because of that gene. So that makes up 5 or 10% of cancers. With the rest, we hear these different stories about people's lifestyle. So-and-so lived to 95, they smoked every day, they ate a codfish sandwich every morning, deep fried, and they were fine. Some of that's your genes that predispose you to change in lifestyle. So all cancers will have a little bit of a genetic factor. But in terms of hereditary cancers that are really just driven by one gene going wrong, that's only about 5 or 10% of the cancers.
Okay. Man brought up my codfish breakfast. Since you want to take this one from Charles Jeffers again, had another question.
Yes. Is there any certain segment of Bermuda's population that higher rate of cancer than others? That has a higher rate of cancer than others?
Yes. Again, more dealing with populations overall. So Bermuda has certain segments of populations. Other countries have certain segments of population. The things that pop to my mind with that thing is back to the prostate cancer. So we know that elderly Black men have a much higher chance of prostate cancer. That tends to be the one that stands out. There's not too many other differentials with that. Again, age, sex, genetics, all impact. So we do see little pockets. We do see little pockets where there is a hereditary element, but they tend to be the main risk factors.
Okay.
Okay.
So, hold on. Somebody else has let's go to this one first. Michelle White says, I've heard that sometimes it's best to leave a cancer alone rather than cut it out. What situation determines when to cut, when to radiate, or when to leave alone?
Yeah. So when we make decisions about how to treat cancer, first thing we do is it's always a team effort. It's not just kind of one individual like me kind of sitting thinking it through. We do things as a team. Sometimes there's situations with cancers where chopping it out, so surgery, would be the best way to get rid of it. Sometimes it's been shown that radiation is better than surgery, higher chance of cure or less side effects, and vice versa. Sometimes chemotherapy has a role. In terms of leaving it, that situation often arises where the cancer's not curable, and we're trying to work out how is it best to control it, how is it best to manage it, how is it best to keep someone living well with a good quality of life, not going through the challenging side effects of surgery. So, yeah, the way I think about it, every individual is unique. Every cancer has its own unique properties. So you kind of put those two together, and there's not one scenario that matches over and over again. You know, every single time there's a personalized element to that decision. And then ultimately, I regard it as our job to present the information to the people sat in front of us. So those that are there with the cancer in their family, talk through what we've seen over the past, talk through the guidelines, talk through the options, and then allow people to make a decision that fits best for them.
Okay. Just my last question is that I know you said you rely mostly on corporate donors, right? What about little guy like me? Like if I want to contribute $50, like I'm sure you're gonna say no, but how do we go around making that happen?
You can just pop over and drop it in. It's fine. No, I think we would probably rely equally between corporate donors and individuals. You know, often when you think about the corporate donors, it's still individuals in that organization who are contributing. So each person can make a difference. If you're thinking as an individual, you know, how do I help? How do I donate? Then Bermuda Cancer and Health's website, which is cancer.bm, has all the information there, and it should be a pretty easy process. Or you can, you know, ring up, and again, the numbers on the website, and just kind of find out information. If you're not particularly tech savvy, you don't like to use those modalities, then just give us a call, and we can talk you through how you can donate. But every little cent makes a difference.
I did see on your website. I don't remember the charity number, but it is on right there on top of the website. I do. We're short on time, but I want to get Charles Jeffers' last question in. What's the difference between chemotherapy and radiation, and how is it determined which way to go?
So the similarities, to be a terrible answer and answer in reverse first, is both of them are designed to attack cancer and hopefully defeat cancer. The difference with chemotherapy is a drug. So chemotherapy literally translates to drugs to treat cancer. So with a drug, it's going into your system. You might take it as a tablet, you might take it as a drip, and therefore it goes into your bloodstream and it goes everywhere in the body. And so that has advantages, disadvantages. The advantages are it can kind of hunt down any cell anywhere that might be hiding and might be cancer related and try and attack it and trying to get rid of it. The disadvantage is it does mean it goes everywhere in the body, so the side effects can be affecting everywhere in the body. Radiation is actually probably easier to think about like surgery. It's very focused, it's very targeted. You know, we use the scans, MRI scans, CT scans, PET scans, etc., to know where the cancer is, and then you're targeting very, very focused radiation just exactly where the cancer is in the body. So it's very, very targeted. So you're focused with radiation and your general chemotherapy, and there's pros and cons to both. So that's why they often complement each other.
Okay. All right, Dr. Fosker. Listen, this was a really informative discussion that we had today. I do thank you for coming on. Please come again whenever you're ready. Just give us a call. And you said your website is
cancer.bm.
Oh, yeah.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks for having us. I hope you enjoy your cup match. May the best team win, the one with the airport.
You're going to cry. We're all going to take a trip after.
Thanks so much for inviting me in, guys.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. What happened? What did you say?
Bully. Every single person that comes on here, you cannot bully them into being for St. George.
I asked him a question. The man
bully.
The man he was free to give whatever answer he wanted to. I didn't
He felt pressured.
Hey, man. Maybe that's you feeling the pressure.
Never.
All right, we're going to be right back after this commercial, and I'm going to beat Sancho up some more with some trivia questions.
Let's have it.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
I'm part of the SSCP, giving us opportunities to go out and sell, which is what I'm doing today.
One of the most important things I learned in the SSCP is that failure is just a part of being an entrepreneur.
As a vocal community, then you can't go anywhere, can you? I just believe it's a really beautiful and amazing experience for everybody.
A lot of late nights being up, trying to finalize things, especially for me.
You don't have to do everything at once. Little steps is the key to success.
They helped me go through every step of the way.
It has helped me gain more confidence, so that's one thing.
I'm Marley Spriggs and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Joshua Allen and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Trey Robertson Richards and I am an entrepreneur. My name is Namira Rayner and I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Vincent Darrell and I am an entrepreneur.
I'm Shayla Swan and I'm an entrepreneur.
I am Sophia Pattenhand. I am an entrepreneur.
My name is Zion and I'm a young entrepreneur.
Welcome back to the show. We're the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. It's time for the Daily Play brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. We're going to do Bermuda trivia around cup match. Ready for it? Okay. This is easy. I mean, it's easy.
Listen, you not always say it's easy.
Okay. You're right. That's true.
Let's go.
This is all right. So it's easy in the sense that it's true or false. So you can't go wrong. I mean, you could go wrong, but
you can't go wrong.
There's a higher chance of you getting. Let's be positive.
Okay, let's have
talking positive today. You might get it right. St. George's might be positive. True or false? Gennaro Tucker has the most catches by a fielder in cup match history.
False.
It's true, man.
Oh.
What? You're so negative.
Sorry, I don't even like a runner. Listen, I like cup match. I'm getting to know the rules. I've only probably in the past 5 years been like into it, watch it. So I'll get there.
Renee Simmons got it right. I think I saw the comment come up after I said true, but we'll give it to him. Now let's see if anybody knows. I'll give you 5 seconds. Anybody knows how many catches he has?
Oh, I definitely don't know.
Yeah, I'll say 5, 4, 3. I'm gonna count slow because there's probably a delay. 2, 3, 2, 1. No guesses. He has 32 recorded catches. All right, so that's Gennaro Tucker has 32 record. Oh, we had 10, 20. Nope, 32. All right. Sancho, what are you thinking about today, man?
Oh, so today's been great. I haven't seen you in a while. It's nice to see you. And our conversation has opened up lots of, I'm sure for people that are watching, has caused lots of questions. If you are interested in being in that field, I think it's time to start doing your research. Make sure you have everything aligned so that when that button is pressed, you can, be able to play and be there. I recently have lost like 3 really important people to cancer. In such a short span of time, Miss Seymour, Mr. Seymour, and then my grandmother. So hearing what they're doing on island for cancer, it definitely it warms my heart to know that people aren't going to have to go overseas, and we are offering the best treatment possible on island. And it just makes me feel like, how can I get involved and how can I do more? And it was lots of tidbits that I didn't know, and I appreciate him for coming on and explaining and teaching us and making us more knowledgeable.
Yeah, man. Like I think it's fantastic what they're doing as well. What I would say is I still want to encourage everybody to prevention's the best medicine, right? So go get screened, go to your doctor. There is that sort of stigma around the prostate check for guys. Like, look, man, just go get it done. It's better to know than to just kind of pretend it's not there and not know. All right. So that's like, I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I think for women as well. I think
yes.
That time comes around when it's like time for a mammogram, and now they've like added another one, so you have like 2 screenings, and it becomes like,
it's not fun, right?
It's not. But then after, you're just like, you know what? It was worth it. I encourage women, get your mammograms. If you feel something, say something. Don't be afraid to get checked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So you got a daily inspiration for us today?
I also have you didn't ask me what my day of the year is.
I didn't ask you. I'm sorry. Let's do that, both of those.
I know. After all of this health talk, I'm going to sit here and tell you that it's National Pecan Pie Day. And I like to eat pecan pie with Scoops ice cream.
There's nothing wrong with a little pecan. Everything in moderation, man.
Every so often, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's today. But then my inspiration for today: never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Yeah, and that's Babe Ruth.
Or getting booed.
Oh, gosh, you're doing a whole lot of talking.
You know why? Because
it's
cup match season, but you know what? It's Connie game season too.
And I need to ask you something. Do you know something about this St. George's team that nobody else knows? Like, do you have inside information that's gonna change the playing field this year? Because
I have faith. That's what I have. I'm a Liverpool fan, okay? I know what it's like to struggle, and I'm about faith.
You always been holding on to this faith for a long time.
Don't worry about what I'm holding on to. Faith.
Okay, I'll see you up at the field. It's probably next time I'm going to see you.
All right, everybody. If you like today's show, give us a love, a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Daily Hour. Don't forget to also subscribe to our website at thedailyhour.com. We're going to take a 23-hour break, but if all goes well, we'll be back with an even better show tomorrow. I'm Philip. She is Sancha, and we love you. Have a great day, and make it a safe one.
Peace.